But let's welcome in right now a man that loves the Jets and also is a legendary WFAN talk show host, now a part of FS1, hosting Breakfast Ball with Danny Parkins and Mark Schlereth. He is the great Craig Carton, joining us on the day that the Jets say goodbye to his friend and someone that he's played golf with in Robert Saleh. Craigie, how you been?
Good. I think that's caught everyone by surprise, me included at 10:00 whatever this morning. But this is the Jets, right? This is the Jets. This is the kind of, the circus we've grown to expect from this organization. And firing Robert Saleh is really that's the Jets. That's the DNA of the Jets. So I guess I shouldn't be all that surprised that a 2-3 team that is playing for first place on Monday night against a division rival, that is a Greg Zuerlein field goal and an Aaron Rodgers pass to a wide open Garrett Wilson away from being 4-1, would fire their head coach. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
So we all walked into this season looking at the Jets roster and acknowledging it's a good roster, but they still can't find a way to get the offensive line right. Is Robert Saleh just the scapegoat here? Or does more attention need to be turned towards Joe Douglas, who has been around for a long time in New York?
All right, so let's compartmentalize it a bit. You can't defend the one-loss record of Robert Saleh, and I think if you spoke to him, he would say, I get that. He was probably very fortunate to even get, the fourth year, which was because of the Aaron Rodgers injury, but he also isn't the guy that builds the team. And I know Woody came out today and said, this is the most talented collection of players we've had in my tenure as the Jet owner, but what good is it, right? If you can't protect the 40-year-old quarterback, if you can't open up holes for your running backs to run in, if your quarterback misses wide receivers or there's not a lot of depth at that position, at some point, the coach is always the scapegoat. And like I said, we can't defend his record, but does this make sense to anybody? Is the offense better today because Robert Saleh is not the head coach? I don't think so.
And that's why the confusing part to me here, Craig, is I think he got showed the door today. And I understand you could justify it with the record and not being good because the relationship between Rodgers and Saleh deteriorated. And you just had Jordan Schultz come on out and throw out there that Rodgers was blindsided and he had no input on this. That just screams BS to me. There's no way Woody Johnson, in my opinion, got rid of Robert Saleh without making sure that it was okay with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, there's no doubt that he told Aaron last night, in that whatever conversation they had last night. I know Robert Saleh thinks the world of Aaron Rodgers and still does. So I think there's probably a lot of truth to whoever you said, just gave you that report. Schultz, was it?
Yeah, Jordan Schultz.
Yeah, Jordan Schultz. And he's probably onto something there for sure. But I think this has a lot to do with Woody Johnson and who he watched the game with in London as the former ambassador to England for this country. And I think people also have to remember Woody Johnson didn't hire him. His brother did. So he was obviously aware of it and probably going to give his blessing, from across the pond, love. But this has all the makings of a Woody Johnson decision. I do believe that. I don't think Joe Douglas had anything to do with it. I do think that there were some moves to maybe get rid of Hackett, and that's why Aaron Rodgers got involved. But to think that there's zero blood on Aaron's hands, I would think is probably naive.
Do you think, Craig Carton, that the Jets are going to wind up with Davante Adams when this is all said and done?
Yeah, so I think this doesn't help that unless Aaron says, you're firing Saleh, you better give Nathaniel Hackett Davante Adams. So I still think he's going to be a New York Jet. And here's the rub on it. History's going to tell a lie. Because I still think the Jets are going to make the playoffs. And the narrative is going to be it was Robert Saleh's fault that they were 2-3. And that's not going to be accurate.
So what's your biggest problem with this team right now? Just wondering. The line stinks. The quarterback looks like he's 40 playing on one leg. Breece Hall's been MIA. The defense is good, but it's not all-time great like they thought it was going to be. Biggest problem right now that frustrates you the most as a Jet fan is what, Craig?
That Aaron Rodgers isn't Aaron Rodgers. Because the defense is damn good. It may not be top 2 good, but it's damn good. Stopped the Minnesota Vikings team for 3 quarters in that game. And damn near came all the way back and won it. And maybe if Quincy Williams doesn't fall down because Sam Darnold touched him, maybe that game's a little bit different. But the biggest concern for me as a dire Jet fan is where's this MVP quarterback I thought I was getting? Now, the run game stinks. It's a problem. The offensive line, yes, below average, but probably better than last year. But we were sold a bill of goods that Aaron Rodgers was the difference maker, that all the games we saw last year with Zach Wilson, even if we lost games this year, was not going to look like that. And let's be honest, the Denver game looked like that, and the majority of the Minnesota game looked like that also. So where's my stud quarterback? Haven't seen him yet.
How much longer do you think Rodgers ends up playing? Do you think he's definitely back next year as the quarterback of the Jets?
Ooh, no, I don't. I think if he continues to play this way, he either goes to an even better situation or I think he hangs it up. Like his legacy's intact, right? He could go over the rest of the season and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So then it comes down to ego and how you want to leave the game. Tom Brady left the game, even though he didn't win the Super Bowl the last year, he went to the playoffs. Legacy. Aaron Rodgers, thus far, I can't say that.
Now, let me ask you this, Craig Carton, as man, your kids are ruining this Mets game for me right now.
My son's upstairs yelling and screaming about the Mets that they score.
Well, no, I know your son, obviously. Pete Alonso just hit a home run to right field. By the way,
the polar bear.
I miss you on a day like this because the Mets having a playoff game in this office, there would be food that gave birth to food. They don't even have a cracker for me today. There'd be Talargio's here and Prince Street Pizza. Where's the food?
Yeah.
Tell Evan Roberts and Tiki Barber to start showing us that afternoon money around
here. Well, look,
I
would say this. Evan Roberts has embarrassed himself. Tiki Barber, multimillionaire, embarrassed himself. Boomer and Gio embarrassed themselves. Brandon and Sal, embarrassing. The fact that these guys don't understand that food is the way to everyone's heart, and it's their job to make sure guys like you are fed. And by the way, now that I think about it, you're the big star now.
I did.
You're the big star.
On. When you came back, did I not get you some John's on Bleecker Street pizza? I've at least contributed before.
But is anyone in your studio eating pizza right now?
Well, you know what?
You're an embarrassment as well.
Marco says he was wanted some food today. Wanted some Chinese food. Samter.
Well, like whatever you want to get, but that should be on your dime.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? Call a spade a spade. You're 1,000% right. All righty, two more before we let you run, Craig. When we get to the future of the Jets and next season, Belichick, Vrabel, who do you want coaching this team if Rodgers is still here?
Belichick's never coaching the Jets. He hates the New York Jets. That'll never happen as much as it'd be great to have Bill Belichick. That's not happening. I'm not quite sure why people are so in love with Vrabel. Decent, but it doesn't make me moist. Ooh, Vrabel's the coach. But I'll tell you, there's two guys I like. One's in college right now. One's in the pros right now. All right? I would talk to Kliff Kingsbury in a minute, and I would talk to Lane Kiffin in a minute and get a sense where their heads are at about being a head coach in New York City.
Can the Jets hire Lane Kiffin? I know it was all those years ago and the disaster with the Raiders. Wouldn't that just scream same old Jets, kind of?
Oh, right?
So you're already at the point. It's funny. You go from Super Bowl and FS1, I watch you on Breakfast Ball, to now it's already like, all right, this franchise is just cursed. They're going to find a way to bleep it up.
Well, because they're the Jets, man. Like, I bet you Aaron Rodgers has a great game now Monday night, like, because he knows he's next.
Yeah.
Right? All the slings and arrows are all at Saleh. Well, that'll last all week. We don't play till Monday night. The expectation now for him and Hackett better be 30-point night for the Jets offense, or else all those magnifying glasses then turn his direction. And he's well aware of that.
By the way, the reason why I didn't get our crew food today is we are a national network, and you know this as a national network. You can't always only focus on the New York game. So if Boise State was playing today, I would have got everyone Chinese food.
That's what we call excuses, because you have a hardworking staff, and they're like, Craigie's right. Where's the pizza?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, every Friday there was Prince Street Pizza. I'll tell you this, and this takes a lot. Everyone's looking better around here these days because they've all lost weight because you're no longer here.
Yeah. That's probably true, but they're less happy.
Yeah, that's 100% true because we all miss that food. Craig Carton, Breakfast Ball. Make sure you watch it on FS1 each and every morning with Mark Schlereth and Danny Parkins. Craigie, thank you.
Be good.